Yo, welcome back everybody to Layup Lines, the Bandwagon Sports College Basketball Show. I'm your host, DaRock, and I'm going to be going through Tuesday's matchups as well as my picks for Wednesday's games. So sorry again for no show yesterday, but hopefully you guys were able to watch some of these games with me live on Twitch, on my Twitch channel last night. I'm hoping to do that every Tuesday and or maybe Thursday. And the big one we were watching, the number one team in the country goes down last night. Creighton Blue Jays knock off the number one ranked UConn Huskies 85-66. Creighton led. They just jumped on UConn right away, leading 43-29 at the half. They were shooting the lights out of the ball, shooting 50% from the three-point line, as well as 54.7% from the field as a whole. Creighton had four starters in double figures, and this is kind of one of those games they just kind of led the whole way. There's a little bit there. UConn kind of made a little bit of a comeback in the second half, but game was never really in doubt for the Blue Jays. This is one that shows, Creighton's a team that, they can make some noise in the tournament here, go deep. UConn, they're coming off their biggest win of the season. They had won 14 straight, or was it 15 straight Big East games before this. So I'm really not too worried about them. Games like this happen. Really more just impressed with Creighton. A very, very solid win for them on their resume. The other really fun one that I was watching on Twitch, Texas Tech pulls out a 1-point win over TCU, 82-81. TCU, they were looking solid. They were up by 10 with 7:57 to go in the game. Looks like they were going to win it. But another great game from Pop Isaacs. He had 19 points, including the game-winning and one with 39 seconds to go. And then Texas Tech also had some big scores for with Williams, Walton, and Toussaint all scoring 14 points apiece as well. So Texas Tech, good win for them. They maybe still have an outside shot at winning the Big 12 after winning this game. A team that was supposed to be in the mix but also lost last night. We'll jump there next. The 11th ranked Baylor Bears lose 71-78 BYU with the win there at home over Baylor, led by Ali Khalifa with 14 points and 7 boards. And then a couple other of the big matchups last night. Villanova takes down Butler 72-64 between 22 points and 6 rebounds from Eric Dixon. So the Bulldogs are currently in the field. We're going to look at that at the Bracketology here in a second, but maybe not after last night's result. And another one that could potentially affect Bracketology, Arkansas gets back to 500 on the year, going on the road to Texas A&M, getting a 78-71 win with Tremont Mark with 26 points and 5 assists for the Razorbacks. So that's a big win for them. They've kind of been struggling this year. A&M kind of needs that one because, as we are going to look at here, Texas A&M finds themselves currently as one of the last 4 buys in Joe Lunardi's Bracketology that was released on Tuesday, joined by New Mexico, Nebraska, and Nevada. Like I mentioned, Butler, they were in the last 4 in, but that loss dropped them out because them, Gonzaga, Seton Hall, and then Ole Miss, who has a big game against Mississippi State tonight, I'll be talking about that one here shortly, are the last 4 in, or in the first 4 out and the next 4 out. So Providence, they also play tonight. I'll be talking about that one in a sec. Utah, who plays Colorado, who you can see is in the next 4 out, they play on Saturday. Cincinnati they have Oklahoma State coming tonight, so that's one they got to win. And then Wake Forest had a 91-58 win over Pitt, who you can also see is here in the last 4 out. St. John's hosts Georgetown tonight. So now let's get back then here, like I said, talk about some of these games for tonight. The first one that I am watching at 7 Eastern on ESPN, Duke, the 8th ranked Duke Blue Devils, are 5.5-point favorites against Miami. Miami's struggling as of late. They have lost 4 straight games. And then Duke has won 4 straight. Duke is also 5-2 on the road in conference. And in those 5, those only losses, one being to Georgia Tech way back in December. I feel like they're a lot better team now. The other one being to Carolina recently, who Carolina, Final Four caliber team potentially. But in the 5 wins, they've all won by 6 or more points. So I think the Blue Devils is a good play here. Again, going on the road midweek is sometimes scary, like we saw with UConn, like I've seen with Carolina many times in these videos. But I'm going to go with the Blue Devils. Another one, we have Providence and Xavier at 8 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Xavier is a 4.5-point favorite in that one. Xavier actually won the first meeting between these two teams, 85-65, back on January 13th. And like I said, we saw Providence win the last couple teams in. Xavier right now not on that list of the last 4 and first 4 out. So, they have some work to do. And this is kind of one of those that maybe Providence is the better team, but since the game is in Xavier and I see that they're favored, I just think, it's the smart play there to take the Musketeers. So that is what I'll be doing. Then we have some good SEC battles here. Like I was mentioning, at 9 Eastern on ESPN2, Ole Miss heads to Mississippi State, who's 7.5-point favorite. Ole Miss won the first meeting between these two teams, 86-82, back on January 30th. Mississippi State has won their last 3 matchups, and it's not a whole lot of defense being played in the SEC. But statistically, their per game stats, Mississippi State does play a little bit more defense than Ole Miss does. They also a little bit better rebounding team. And Ole Miss also lost 3 of 4, so they're trending in the wrong direction. I'm leaning Mississippi State to win the game for sure. 7.5, maybe a little steep. But so the play there might be Mississippi State money line. And then I like the over-unders only at 142.5. Like I said, SEC, very high-scoring games. Both these teams, average over 70 points a game. Some in the high 70s. So I think I might play Mississippi State money line and then the over in that one. And then another ESPN game. This is going to be my upset alert at 9 Eastern on ESPN. The 17th ranked Kentucky Wildcats, 6.5-point favorites, head to LSU. LSU's hot right now. They had a nice win over the weekend, beating South Carolina 64-63. LSU's also already beat Ole Miss at home this year as well. Kentucky, though, they are playing well. 70-59 win at Auburn. So, Kentucky's been able to go on the road and win some games this year. But this is what I'm talking about when I say, you're going on the road midweek. This is a spot. I think it could be a good spot to play the Tigers. Definitely plus a 6.5, and maybe even on the money line. Just because Kentucky's been a very inconsistent team all year. When I've been high on them, they've usually let me down shortly thereafter. So I could see this being one of those spots for Kentucky for sure. And then just kind of touches on some other games here quickly. 5:30 Eastern on Big Ten Network. 12th ranked Illinois heads to Penn State. Penn State already has beat Wisconsin at home this year. However, Wisconsin has fallen off a cliff. So, could this be a trap spot for the Illini? Maybe. I'm going to say probably not. I'd probably go with Illinois in this one. I think they're pretty good. Some people are saying they are a Final Four caliber team this year. I'm not sure I'm that high on them, but we'll see. So that's going to be a good one for Big Ten fans. Another ranked-on-ranked match. I actually didn't touch on this one just because I don't really have as much of a lean on it. 7 Eastern on ESPN2, 24 ranked at Florida heads to 13th ranked Alabama. So, yeah, ranked-on-ranked matchup. Alabama's 8.5-point favorites. Florida has had some nice wins. They beat Kentucky earlier in the year. Alabama, they're a good team. I don't really know if 8.5 is what I'd want to play, but you could get a look into it. I definitely like Alabama to win. Maybe that's one, you throw them and a couple other money lines into a parlay together, get some value there. And then the mid-major game, last one I'm watching, 10 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. 22nd ranked Colorado State heads to New Mexico. New Mexico is 6.5-point favorites, and Colorado State won the first meeting between these two teams, 76-68, back on January 2nd. So start the new year. For me, it's just really tough to win on the road in the Mountain West. We saw last night Utah State knocked off San Diego State at home. I feel like just so many of these times when I mention these Mountain West games, I'm always just on the home team because they usually win. Did bite me in the butt last week when I was on Nevada at home against New Mexico, but now New Mexico is coming home. They have lost their last 2 home games, but this is one, again, maybe 6.5 is steep. I can see this being a close game, being a good game, but I'm going to go with the Lobos in this one. So that's going to wrap it up for Wednesday's picks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe. I'm trying to do these videos, like I said, multiple times a week. And ring the notification bell. Check out the links down below. Like I said, trying to do all sorts of stuff here. We're heating up. We're getting to March. So let's have a good end of college basketball season here. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.